Let's imagine 3 API requests fail at the same time. Now your app's probably going to send 3 refresh calls or retries. So most iOS tutorials do not teach you how to handle this properly, and this is where things can start to break. So let's say your access token expires. Your app fires off a new request or a couple requests at the same time, maybe to load a user feed, fetch some profile data, grab some user notifications. They all hit your backend and they all come back with a 401 unauthorized error. Now, this is where things can go catastrophically wrong in your application. So most apps will handle things like this. Each request sees the 401 and each request tries to refresh the token independently. There's no coordination, there is no shared state. So let's take a look at what this would actually look like from a system design perspective. So here we have 3 requests firing off at the same time, sort of like we described before. They all get routed through your API client and they each hit a 401 error because let's say your access token has expired. So if you have token refresh logic in place, this would then trigger 3 refreshes or n refreshes based on the amount of requests that you made, and each one of those would return a new JSON web token. So why is this bad? So every failed request triggers its own refresh, right? And then duplicate refresh calls are going to hit your backend. You're going to run into race conditions between concurrent requests. The token state can be overwritten unpredictably, increased load, and wasted network calls. It's hard to reproduce auth bugs. And this is the type of bug that you might not see come up in development. Everything might look like it's working fine until your app starts to scale or gets real users, and then it starts to fall apart. One request might finish first and then save a valid token, then another finishes after and overwrites it with something stale. Now your app is in a completely inconsistent state, and this is where you start seeing things like random logouts, failed retries, and it works sometimes bugs. So these are the worst types of bugs, man. Trust me, I know from experience, because they only show up under real usage and under certain conditions. So what do we actually want to do here? So no matter how many requests fail at the same time, we only ever want to perform 1 refresh call. Everything else should just wait on that 1 refresh call. So here's the fix: implementing a refresh coordinator. So if we go to diagram 2 here, we have the same starting flow. These requests run, they route through our API client, they run into an error, and then you get your 3 potential refresh requests, right? Let's imagine these are all using a separate instance of an API client. So what we want to do then is route them through this token refresh coordinator, which we set up as an actor, and we'll dive into the code here in a little bit, and then just return a single new JWT token. So here's a breakdown of how the refresh coordinator works. So we have this component, it's an actor, and it has a simple method called refresh token if needed. And it asks, does a refresh task already exist? Do we have something in flight already? Yes, then we just await the value of that existing task and return a new token. If not, it creates a new task, calls the auth refresh endpoint, saves the updated credentials, and then clears out that refresh tasks and returns a new token. So this is the job of this token refresh coordinator. So let's look at the benefits of this. So we now only have a single shared refresh task, and all requests await that same result. And this eliminates duplicate refresh calls, which reduces load on your server. You get predictable and consistent token state, reduced backend load, safe concurrency with controlled access, and production-ready scalable approach that's bug-free and it's easier to test as well. And here we have our code implementation, guys. This is actually taken from our advanced networking course that is launching soon, and I will talk more about that in a little bit after we go through the code. But we have this actor that's a token refresh coordinator, and we'll explain why it's an actor here in a little bit. And we keep track of our in-flight refresh here as a class level property, and we inject our client in our token store. So we call this refresh if needed function. This will only run if we need a new token, if our token has expired and we need to go get a new one. So if we have an in-flight refresh, we simply return the result of that. So no matter how many things hit this at once, right? End requests can route through this refresh coordinator. If there's already an in-flight refresh, they all stop here. If not, we create the task and then we set up that value so that this class level property now has that value, and we defer to setting it back to nil, and we simply return the task.value. And here is how we perform that refresh. We load our refresh token from our token store, we create our request, and then we get the tokens and then save them inside of our secure keychain token storage. And the implementation for that is seen in our authentication service. We have an instance of our refresh coordinator here. And when we make an authenticated request, like in this fetch profile function, if it goes wrong and we see that the error is a 401, we then call this refresh coordinator.refresh if needed function and then re-execute that request. So this is not one of those things that's just nice to have or over engineering. This is the difference between a system that just works in demos and a system that actually survives production. Without this, you're dealing with unnecessary backend load, inconsistent auth state and behavior, and hard to debug race conditions. With this system implemented, everything becomes predictable, efficient, and scalable. Now, you might be wondering, in the age of AI, why does this even matter? Why do I need to know how to do this stuff? So here's something important, especially when AI tools are getting so good. Like I said, you might think, why does this matter? Can't I just have AI generate this for me? And yes, you could, but here's the reality. AI just won't build this out of the box or by default. If you ask it to handle token refresh, you usually will get the naive system that we looked at first. Each request refreshing independently, no coordination, no shared tasks, and the exact broken system we just talked about. AI does not automatically understand concurrency edge cases, race conditions, or how these systems behave under load. And even if it does, you still need to have the knowledge to make sure that it implements it correctly. And you can only do that if you actually understand the architecture behind this type of system. So that's the difference between developers who use AI to generate code and developers who can use AI to generate actual systems. So this is exactly the kind of stuff I go deep into in my new advanced networking course. Now that is launching this week, guys, and there's a link in the description to sign up for early access where you'll get 50% off the course on course launch. And we cover everything from advanced caching strategies to retry systems with exponential backoff, JWT auth, which is taken from everything we just covered here, request adapters, interceptors, logging and observability, WebSockets, SSL pinning, file uploads and downloads, building a reusable and flexible API client, really everything you need to know as a developer to implement a production networking system into your iOS applications. So you can sign up for early access, or you can become a member here with us at App Stuff, guys, to get access to our full catalog of courses for just a monthly, yearly, or lifetime fee. You get unlimited access to everything and you can cancel anytime. You also get access to our free Discord server, and you get early access to courses before they launch, before anybody else, exclusive discounts, so on and so forth. So make sure you check us out at appstuff.io. The early access link is here as well. If you're watching this video by the time the course is launched, I'll include a discount for you in the description just for watching this video as well. So if you like this video and this type of content, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel, guys. We have a ton more content and courses just like this on the way to help you stay relevant as an iOS developer in the age of AI. We teach you the type of stuff that you need to know to help use AI as a superpower and not rely on it as a crutch. That's the future of coding. That's the future of iOS development, and App Stuff is the best place to be to stay up to date and stay with the times so you don't get left behind. So thanks for watching. This is Stefan here saying peace out. See you in the next one.